Good morning. My name is Karyna Kamińska and I represent the Association of Polish Fruit and Vegetables Distributors, Fruit Union. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of the promotional campaign, The Power of Taste, Vitamins and Colors, Discover the Quality of Apples from Europe, aimed at the market of United Arab Emirates, I would like to start our webinar with experts who will give presentations on the subjects: the factor that affects the quality and taste of apples from Europe, guarantee of safety and traceability, and export procedures. We hope you will find it interesting. Now I would like to invite our first expert, Iwona Szot, doctor of the University of Life Sciences in Lublin, at the Faculty of Horticulture, Nursery and Oenology, who will give the first presentation. Please, the floor is yours.
Good morning to everybody. The subject of my presentation is the quality of apes from Europe. Learn about the factors that affect the quality and taste. European apes are full of nutrition and health-promoting properties, no waxing, tasty, diversified in terms of varieties which provide access to fresh, different flavors of apple throughout the year, no transgenic varieties. Manufactured on the basis of modern methods, developed thanks to a long tradition, produced in appropriate climatic and soil conditions, safe for the environment, stored based on the modern methods that help keep high quality fruits for a long time, also in commercial chain, and adapt to the European standards. Some nutrition facts. Apple provide vitamin C and carotenes and to a lesser extent B vitamins. It's low-calorie food, only 48 to 52 kilocalories per 100 grams. The richness of minerals, the advantage of alkaline-forming elements, equal foods with alkalizing effect, very low in protein and fat, low dry matter content, maybe mainly carbohydrates, mono and disaccharides in ripe fruit, organic acid, dietary fiber, including pectins. The high production of apple in the European Union is the cause of increased quality requirements. Annual production of apple in European Union is about 10 to 13,000. So what's quality? The following quality characteristics are most often indicated: appearance, size, color, gloss, and no damage and no sign of physiological and fungal diseases; texture, firmness, crispness, juiciness, mealiness, hardness; palatability, it means sweet, sour, acrid, bitter taste, smell and presence of foreign taste and odors; and nutritional values. Quality is also food safety, taking into account the content of heavy metals and residues of plant protection products. European apes are delicious. Not only the sugar content is important, but also the acid content and their mutual proportion. The last two elements largely determine the flavor of the ape. A much larger group of consumers prefer varieties with sweet fruits. This is also confirmed by the offer on the market. Currently, quality standards requirements for extract content and firms are included. This is to eliminate both unripe and overripe fruit from the market. Moreover, the precise determination of sugar content in apes of individual varieties is of great importance in terms of nutritional recommendation for diabetics. For people with diabetes, for example, it's more important to precisely determine the carbohydrate content in the consumed product, because the amount of insulin taken is determined depending on this. According to EU standards, dessert apples must contain over 13% of extract. The extract content in apples increases in the period of reaching consumption maturity. In the period immediately preceding harvest, the process of hydrolysis of starch contained in fruit to simpler sugar and consequently to glucose begins. During storage, the extract content may increase. This is caused on the one hand by starch hydrolysis and on the other hand by an increase in sugar concentration due to the transpiration of water from fruit. Changes in the acid content are slightly different. The acidity depends mainly on the variety and degree of fruit ripeness, as well on the course of water condition during the growing season. In the case of apples and pears, the main organic acid is malic acid. The content of organic acid in fruits gradually decreases during ripening and during storage. Europe of high quality thanks to the genetic characteristics of the varieties. The quality of the fruits is the result of several factors. The genetic characteristics of the variety itself should be mentioned at first. They decide, among others, about the tree growth, susceptibility to diseases, maturation date, and the appearance of ape and their taste. European apes are characterized by a relatively large variety of cultivars, which ensures access to fresh fruit for around the year 20 months. There is no transgenic variety among them. They arise by crossing varieties, selecting seedlings, or finding mutation. It's estimated that there are already about 30,000 varieties of apple trees in the world. However, after the Second World War, the cultivar diversity decreased drastically. Currently, around 13 varieties account for 72% of European ape production. Golden Delicious is grown the most, especially in Italy, Spain, and France. Then Jonagol, Germany, Poland, Gala, mainly France, Italy, and Spain. European apes are produced according to modern methods developed thanks to a long tradition. An important element influencing the taste of ape is the method of production, especially the agrotechnical procedures carried out in the orchards. Finally, the environmental condition in which the cultivation is carried out. They all influence the taste and appearance of fruit. In general, the idea is for all these elements to work together, which in turn leads to an attractive and tasty fruit. The centuries-old tradition of ape cultivation in Europe means that the details of the care treatments are refined at a high level, which significantly affect the quality of apes, e.g. their size. Apart from weather condition, many authors point to the age of the fruiting shoots and the type of shoots as factors determining the size of the fruits. The influence of agrotechnical treatments, rootstock, and the way of cultivation is also significant on the mentioned feature. The experience of European fruit growers allows them to select the appropriate methods to thinning, for example, thinning, cutting, and irrigation, protection against adverse climatic conditions. The result is the production of apes of optimal size. European apes are very tasty because of climatic that prevails here. Of course, it's not the same in whole Europe. So some countries produce a variety that is suitable for given climatic conditions. Some cultivars are popular in single countries, such as Ida Red Champion in Poland, Elstar in Germany, Red Delicious in Italy. One of the most important climatic factors is light. and its intensity. It affects the proper functioning of the tree, its longevity and productivity. The lack of light, in combination with other factors, can cause the tree to fruit alternately. It's also necessary to improve the taste and appearance of apple during the growing season. Activities and undertaken whose main goal is to improve fruit insulation. First of all, the crowns are formed in such a way to ensure the penetration of light into the interior. This is especially important in conditions where the intensity of sunlight is lower. The insulation and its length are essential for photosynthesis and for synthesis of pigments in the skin. It's well known that well-colored apples are sweeter. Hence, in the period preceding harvesting, a summer pruning is made to expose the fruit, thus improving access to sunlight. It's also called cutting to color. This term gives an additional explanation of the legitimacy of its implementation. This is very interestingly that light plays an important role not only in the cultivation of colored varieties, but also in fruits with yellow or green skin, for example, Golden Delicious, Mutsu. They also have a positive effect on the appearance and taste of the fruit. Another element related to the climate is temperature, both during the dormant and the growing season. The temperature system during the bud growth affects the proper development and growth. When it's too hot, the transport of water and minerals can be impaired, especially calcium, a deficiency of which causes a physiological disease called bitter pit. It appears on the fruit as corky spots, and the flesh underneath is bitter. This appearance does not encourage eating. Moreover, even after removing the damaged fragment, the apples is not tasty. In cold weather season, fruit grow inwards and ripening is delayed. As a rule, of small fruits do not achieve the flavor proper for the variety. The relationships between temperature and the color of the blush is well known. It should be added that the development of the blush depends more on large daily temperature fluctuation than on the average daily temperature value. In short, warm days and cool nights are ideal condition for the color of apple and just improve their taste. While paying attention to the climatic factors that influence the taste of apple, you shouldn't forget about water. First of all, it is essential for the growth and yielding of apple tree. It's also needed for blush. It is known that dry soil and dry air around the tree crown delay the coloring process. For this reason and additional water supply, it's necessary during periods of drought. The climate and especially some of its elements affect the taste of apple. Having knowledge in this field, it can be used to the maximum for the production of apples of high quality. For example, producers of these fruits from Europe have it, where the favorable area of proper development of the fruit cause that they are usually beautifully colored, meet the taste requirements, and contain many vitamins. Many orchards are run on the basis of integrated plant production, so European apples are safe for the environment. EP is a modern and developing system of cultivation that takes into account the expectation of customers in relation not only to attractive looking fruit, but also products with high quality. The integrated production system enables obtaining agricultural crops with the high biological and nutritional values and safe for human health. Plant products are strictly controlled for residues of plant protection products, fertilizers and other substances hazardous to health. European apes maintain high quality for a long time due to their modern storage. It's also very important to stay fresh after picking an apple. Life processes still take place, the most important of which are respiration and transpiration, e.g. Evaporation. Long-term evaporation causes a decrease in their weight, the fruit loses and its quality and appearance, mainly due to an attractive wrinkled skin. The evaporation process is slower than the storage temperature is lower. It's very important to preserve the freshness after harvest. That is why it's so important to keep the temperature low from the moment the apple is picked from the tree until it's delivered to the customer. The so-called cold chain behavior. During transport, special moisture and carbon dioxide absorbers are used to further minimize the aging effects. So, summarizing, the European apple is high quality thanks to the workout cultivation and harvesting methods, sorting, storage and delivery to the customers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask them in our chat. Now I would like to invite the next expert, Mateusz Woźniak, Director of the consulting company for the quality of apple production. Please, the floor is yours.
Hello everybody. I have prepared a short presentation for you, the subject of which is guarantee of product safety and its traceability. Today I will tell you about food safety, one with nature production, traceability and certification global gap. The most important thing for us is to guarantee food safety at every stage of production. From farm, by transport, collection center, shops to the consumer. A consumer is unable to verify the safety of food on his own. Safety must be guaranteed by law. Food safety, consumer expectation then and now. Consumer expectation once the price of goods came first. Now safety comes first. In Poland, one the basic quality system of production is the international Global Gap certificate, FSA certificate by SAI platform, GRCP certificate, Tesco Nature, ecological certificate and our national certificate of integrated production. Quality system for processing products is HACCP, Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Points, ISO, Food Safety Management Systems, BRC, British Retail Consortium, IFS, International Food Standard. To minimize the risk of pesticides, we use the new technologies that are compatible with nature. We take the following actions, for example, decision-making assistance regarding protection of crops, scheduling proper dates of procedures, determining appropriate protective products, food protection execution, vermin signalizing, defining of threshold and economical harm. In the fight against diseases and vermin, we use computer programs that simulate their development. The program sets the date of the spraying. We know when to perform the procedure. The fruit growers receive precise recommendation via SMS and email. You see, for example, one of them. One with nature production, sustainable agriculture. Polish horticulture is also compatible with sustainable agriculture. We use integrated production in plant protection. We take care of pollinating insects. We use natural hedgerows near their orchard. Advantages of the hedgerows reflect the growth environment of numbers of beneficial organisms such as white pollinating insects, protection against natural enemies, prevents chemical spraying, and barrier against drought water conditions. We use also help of predatory insects in the fight against vermin of apple trees. For example, ladybugs, lacewings, earwings, and Typhlodomus pyrrhi. Traceability is guaranteed by certificate. For example, Global Gap is a unique tracking number, use the expiry date of certificate. Producer is the legal subject introducing product in the market. Localization is the farm management by the producer, place of production and service of the certificate products. Product must be declared during registration process and must be property of the producer. Traceability makes it possible ability to review to enter production process of the certificate product, ability to recreate the route of the product batch from producer to the client, and consistent record of the above. The most important food safety system is Global Gap. It's fully checked against a checklist by the certification body in every farm and every year. The traceability of the certificates is guaranteed by the number of GGN. GGN number is number of producer identification in Global Gap database. All trading participants worldwide are guaranteed that the products with GGN numbers were tested at their production stage. Who does require such a certificate? The largest of food operators and market. Maybe you know them. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for the presentation. And the last speech will belong to Mateusz Kawęczyński, Apple Trade, Export and Logistics Expert. Please, the floor is yours.
Good morning. Subject of my presentation is apples, the main export product to third markets. Fruit growing has come a long way over the years. By the end of the 19th century, most of European production was concentrated in two main regions, France and Italy. Orchards with low production potential or old apple variety dominated in the remaining countries. In many European countries, including Poland, the situation began to change after 2000. It was then that the greatest change became noticeable and to a large extent continue to this day. In the 21st century, horticultural production began to change on large scale. The yield per hectare has improved significantly and more varieties have emerged that still dominate export both inside and outside the UE. The main driving force behind the changes weren't still European funds. It is thanks to them that the many smaller countries could develop their production. Thanks to EU programs aimed at the implementation of specific activities, both small farms and medium and large entities could develop. Many producers groups have been established associating production from a given area. Many training programs were implemented, thanks to which producers could count on substantive support on the production itself, but also on planning further development by introducing new varieties, but also mechanization in production or a new method of protecting orchard against negative weather effects. The protection of orchards is one of the key elements that enable production to be maintained at the specific quantity and quality level. Thanks to the irrigation system above the crown, the orchards protect the orchards against spring frost. Anti-hail nets protects against heavy storm during the growing season of fruit. There are more and more such solutions in orchards every year, thanks to which the effects of negative weather are not so much felt. The introduction of mechanization to horticulture, for example mechanical cutting or mechanical fruit harvesting, also has a significant impact to increase production efficiency. All these increase the yield of orchards and yields from 1 hectare even at the level of 60 and sometimes 80 tons and more depending on the variety. As shown by the data published by WAPA, European production over last New Year has remained at the level exceeded 10 million tons of apples. The exception was 2070, when a wave of spring frost destroyed a large part of European production. At the time, almost every country saw a decline in production at the level of the last dozen or so percent, and sometimes even several dozen percent. In turn, 2018 brought a record harvest of apples and an unprecedented overproduction. It was 2018 that for many countries turned out of the breakthrough year in gaining new sales markets. A large supply of the good quality raw materials and at the same time low prices have made the expansion of markets such as Egypt, Arab Emirates and India much easier for countries such as Poland. It was in 2019 that the position of Italy and France began to weaken in favor of Poland, Serbia and Ukraine, which will maintaining a similar quality level offer raw material at lower price. The following years, 19 and 20, are the years of lower production caused by spring frost and heavy storms. Despite the fact that in 2010 and 2020 the temperature drops were sometimes much higher than in 2070, thanks to experience from previous years and modern infrastructure, it was possible to protect fruit crops much better. In the UE as whole, and compared to 2070, yields are about 70% higher. The average consumption of apples per 1 euro inhabitant is about 15 kg. As a result, the total consumption with all European Union countries amounts to approximately 7.5 million tons. Analyzing the average production volume in the last few years, inside the UE, we have over 3 million tons of apples which can be successfully sent to the third countries. The 2014 and 2015 season was the last season of cooperation with the Russian Federation. In 2015, Russia imposed sanctions on large parts of European countries in the form of an embargo on the transport of fresh fruit and vegetables and other food products. 2015 was a breakthrough year in the export of many apples. The closure of the main recipient of goods manufactured in Europe resulted in a decline in the volume of exports outside the UE in the following years. But at the same time, initiate a period of strong expansion in markets such as India, Egypt or Arab Emirates. The following years were marked by expansion in these markets. We need to continue work on the development of newly established trade contacts with imported from different countries, as well as bottom-up work in improve the quality of the fruit produced and the implementation of varieties that are interesting for importers from around the world. This process continues to this day, and individual countries are gaining more and more markets thanks to the experience gained and adapting a significant part of production to the needs and requirements of distance markets, but also improve the quality of the fruit, thanks to which the goods shipments easily without the hardships of long term, even several weeks delivered by sea. The present chart contains data of three major exported from Europe: Italians, French, and Poland. Most of the European apple production is located in these three countries. Egypt was the main recipient of goods from Poland and Italy from last season. This is because the delivery time to Egypt is around 13 to 28 days from Polish ports and even 7 to 10 days from Italian ports. France and Italy definitely have an advantage over Poland due to the geographic localization. The proximity, the ports such as Koper, Trieste, Marseille, for France and Italy reduce delivery time and cost. Nevertheless, the longer transport time and higher costs associated with this still allow to maintain competitive price for Polish apples in relation to other European countries. Therefore, the polish of fruits on selected markets is constantly growing. The presented data cover the past season, 19 and 20, which is we can check what was the volume of export from Italy. It was around 875,000 tons. From Poland it was 665 tons, and from France 414 tons. Volume of this export from Italy was 771 million of euro, from Poland 312 millions of euro, and from France 363 million of euro. Volume of export per 1 kg from France and Italy was the same, around 88 euro cents per kg of apples. From Poland was 47 euro cents per kg of each apples. What we can expect over the next year? Certainly an increase in production and maintenance at similar level of consumption in UE. Increase the recognition of individual countries on the international area such as Poland or Ukraine. Focusing production around the most recognizable varieties: Gala Royal, Golden Delicious, Regional Prince, Red Delicious, or club varieties. Maintain high quality production, enabling shipment to the most remote corners of the world. The most popular variety for export to the third markets are Royal Gala, Golden Delicious, Regional Prince, Red Chief family, Red Delicious, Red Chief. This variety has different taste, aroma, and appearance. Red Chief has increased dark color covering the entire surface of the fruit, sweet taste, and is extremely aromatic. Fruits has medium and large size. Gala Royal has sweet taste. Fruit is medium size, is very well known and recognized variety all over the world. Golden Delicious. Different levels of dyeing depending on the target markets. Green, yellow, between green and yellow, and yellow with red cheek. Has sweet taste. Fruit are medium size. Rhodionaprins, it's also intense dark color, similar like red chief. Apples are very large and large. Taste is sweet sour. Idaret have medium size. The flesh is juicy and slightly sour. Very durable and resistant variety indeed of marketing all year round. The quality of the fruit produced is the key of element in the case of the deep sea shipments. An apple must have the right parameters to withstand a long journey. But not only the quality of the fruit contributes to the success of such imports. Specialized sorting and packing machine, a wide range of package types available, many years of experience in organization shipment by sea, constantly developing new sea routes, enabling short delivery times. All these elements contribute to the success of sea shipments and the satisfaction of our customers. Why is apple the main export products to the third countries? Year by year in Europe, we have growing apple production in all countries. Strong development of production in countries such as Poland, Moldova and Ukraine. Constantly growing production volume of apples of the highest quality. Development of the already existing sea routes and new connection enabling faster delivery to selected ports around the world. And of course, constant level of fruit consumption in Europe. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for the presentation. These are all the presentations in our webinar. Thank you very much for your participation and our experts for providing us with professional knowledge about apples, their quality and their production. If you want to find out more about the campaign, visit our Apples from Europe Facebook profile or our website. I wish you a good day, have a nice day and goodbye.